learned that everything out of Elise's mouth was spoken at a volume that signaled an emergency. Based on how much she was wiggling, I figured I had another few minutes before she burst. "Let's get you out then, huh?" I clicked the seatbelt and climbed out of the truck, careful to keep Meatball inside. That damn thing might run away and break Elise's heart if I wasn't careful. I got in the back seat and managed to only swear once while trying to unsnap the harness of her car seat. "Come on, let's check out our new bathroom." Meatball jumped in the back seat, and I grabbed him under my right arm, Elise on my left. With a hip check, I got the door closed and strode toward the trailer. When I got there, I realized I'd have to put one of them down to get to the key that was in my front pocket. I looked back and forth, wondering if I trusted a 5-year-old or a puppy more. It was a crapshoot, honestly. I put Elise down in the dirt with a stern warning to stay put. My leg cramped as I stood back up, but I ignored it. I didn't have time for that shit. I had a life to build. The key fit in the lock, and the door swung open before Meatball licked me again, or Elise ran off, so I considered that a win. Minor as it could be, I was chalking it up in the win column. It was a pretty desolate column so far. "I'm home," I sang to the trailer, picking Elise back up and climbing the 2 metal stairs to enter. I ducked my head automatically, then realized I didn't need to. You didn't grow up to be 6'5" and not duck your head through doorways. Only took one concussion at 16 to drive that lesson home. Thankfully, this RV had a ceiling height that would allow me to stand straight up. Praise the Lord. I turned in a circle, locating the bathroom at the south end of the trailer. I had to slide sideways to fit through the doorway, but Elise got to the bathroom in time for her to pee in the toilet, and not on the floor. Meatball got the zoomies and ran up and down the aisle of the trailer, only pausing to sniff out his new home after he was panting, with his little tongue hanging out. Elise pulled her underwear up after doing her business and tried to reach the sink. I helped her, happy I'd hired a guy to come out ahead of us and hook up the water and sewer lines.
"Now what?"
Elise looked up at me, then made a face with her eyes crossed and her tongue hanging out, looking surprisingly like Meatball. I clapped my hands, the first glimmer of excitement hitting me. We were finally here. "Let's build Glamper's Paradise." Elise wrinkled her button nose.
"Lamper dice?"
"No, Glamper's Paradise." I leaned down and swung Elise up into my arms, almost clipping her head on the ceiling. Damn, I'd have to watch that. I wasn't used to living in an RV. "I'm building a place where people can come and rent trailers on their vacations. It's like camping, but fancier." Elise pulled the baseball cap off my head and plopped it on hers, the bill covering her eyes entirely.
"What's camping?"
Okay, that's enough questions for now. Let's find the leash for Meatball and walk around our land, huh? Elise put her hands out like a zombie.
"Where are you, Daddy? I can't see you."
I shook my head, finding her adorable, and yet so dang tiring. The energy of a 5-year-old was a lot, even on my best days, and I hadn't had any best days in 6 months. I pulled the hat off her head and threw it on the table. "Actually, let me make a phone call first. Can you sit at the table and play with your dolls for a second?" I plunked her down at the Formica tabletop, impressed with the leather seats. Maybe I hadn't bought a hunk of junk like my father kept saying. I pulled out 2 dolls from my pocket. On day 2 of being a dad, I learned to always carry dolls with me to stave off tantrums, and handed them to her. Her eyes lit up, and she immediately went into self-play mode. I wasn't sure she should be so good at self-play mode at her age, which made me worry about how her mother had treated her the first 5 years of her life. But that worry would just have to wait. "Gannon, you made it?" Bane answered my call almost immediately. I scratched the top of my head. "I made it all right. Trailer looks good. Haven't had a chance to walk the land yet, but I will shortly. Hey, I got another favor to ask." "Sure, man. What's up?" I hated asking favors, or asking for advice. But hitting rock bottom had humbled me in a way I hadn't anticipated. "You got any idea who might want to be..."